Hello everyone, it's Nick here with Nick Tolman Music, and today we are going to continue our beginner guitar lesson series using Mel Bay's Modern Guitar Method, Grade 1. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at page 45. Page 45, there's literally one exercise on it, and that's it. It's a duet called Rondo, and it's a full page of music. So we're going to dive in today. I'm going to play both parts for you. We're going to put those parts together so you can see what this exercise is all about. So starting at 72 on the metronome, we're going to look at part 1. Part 1 at 72. Here we go. 1, 2, and ready, and play. Alright, so there is part 1 at 72. Okay, it's not overly challenging, but there are a few things that I would like to point out and kind of work through, okay? So starting at the beginning, it's all just reading down the notes. Now, you notice that we do have some accents. We haven't really seen these before. So an accent is this symbol that you'll see it above a note. And it essentially just means that you need to emphasize that note. Make it a little bit more present, a little bit louder than the notes that are around it. So in that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th measure of the first line, we've got that A, and then that D. It wants you to emphasize the D. And really it just means play it a little bit louder, but what helps with these accents is to play the notes around it a little bit softer as well. Anyway, so that's just a little thing there. That's what an accent is. Whenever you see that symbol, it just wants you to emphasize that note, okay? So moving on. This is the second line. D7 chord and then a G chord, right? Going ahead. Now, here's one of the things that I like to do right here. Okay, so if I play that, I'm in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th measure of the second line, right? I've got an open D and then a C. If I play that C with my third finger, the next note that I have to play is a high A. That ends up being kind of a big jump, right? So I actually like to play that low C with my first finger. That sets me up nicely to be able to just drop my fourth finger on the high A. So starting in the 8th measure of the second line, so this is the 5th to last measure of the second line, we've got Again, C with my first finger. right? And so I'm in second position up until that open E. And back down to first position, right? So that's all there is to it. That's just a little trick. I like to play that low C with your first finger, and it just sets you up nicely for that high A. Okay? Then moving ahead on the third line, second measure of the third line. Emphasizing those accents. Now, same kind of thing here. So I'm in the fifth measure of the third line. Play the A with my second finger. Now to play that F sharp also with your second finger is going to require a jump, and it's going to make it just a little less smooth. So what I like to do is just play that F sharp with my third finger. So. And that's it. No shifting or anything. I'm just going to play that F sharp with my third finger, and that will help to smooth out that transition from the A to the F sharp. All right, I'll try that once for you slowly. So here's the fourth measure of the third line. Okay, moving ahead, last measure of the third line. Good, now you're going to be going into second position. There's a couple ways to do that shift. One is you can shift on, so I'm on the third measure of the fourth line. You can shift on the open E and play the D with your second finger. And actually shift one note earlier than what it's saying. Or you can just shift right on that F sharp and just kind of, after you play the D, just kind of sneak your first finger up under. Now, on the way back, there's only two notes. You're just going to play that high A twice. And those are the only things that are requiring you to be in second position. So anytime after that, you can really shift. So this is the fourth measure of the fourth line. I'm still in second position. You could shift back right there. Play that the whole rest of it in first position. I stayed in second a little bit longer when I played the example for you, and that's fine too. So again, here's the third measure of the fourth line. I think I shifted right here. Really, any of those open strings after those two high A's, you can utilize the shift back, and that will be fine. There's not really one place that's better than another. It just depends on how long you want to stay in second position. Okay, so now in the fifth line, we've... That's all straightforward. Last line. And again, that's all straightforward. It's first position, just reading the notes down. So that is part one, kind of the breakdown there. So let's go ahead and take a look at part two, keeping the metronome at 72. Here we go. 1, 2, and ready and go. And there we have it. I missed one note, the fourth to last note. I just like went for that B and then kind of messed that up. That's all right. So that's part 2. And really, it's very straightforward. The only thing to watch out for is there's that accidental to the F natural on the 4th line. Other than that, it's all in first position. It's all just normal kind of stuff. I don't think you're going to run into any problems there. There's nothing fancy that I'm doing on that. I'm just reading the notes down and playing them in first position. So here's what the 2 parts sound like together. 1, 2, and ready, and play. All right, so let's go ahead and try this a little bit faster. Here is part 1 at 120 on the metronome, because it is asking for allegro, so we're gonna just bump it up into that realm. So here's 120. Part 1, 120. Here we go. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and ready and. All right, so there is part 1 at 120. Let's go ahead and try part 2. 1, 2, and ready, and. And there is part 2. Let's go ahead and hear what these 2 parts sound like together at 120 on the metronome. 1 and 2 and ready and... All right, so that concludes our lesson today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Check out my website at www.nicktolmanmusic.com for more information, exercises, resources available for you as you are learning to play the guitar, and we will see you next time. Thanks.